there. All right, so yeah, we've all seen it or hear it. Clients are like, "Oh, market's going to crash. Market's going to crash." I'm sitting on the fence, they are sitting on the fence, I should say. Now, this stuff, I'm not throwing out stats or statistics because I never know when somebody's going to go back and listen to this. So I'm going to put it on everybody to, you have to support your own stats at any given time that you're going to be having conversations because things change and things are fluid. But first thing, I have yet to see any reports indicating, like I don't read anything. I don't see anything in the news or anything come across, my computer or my phone or anything that's indicating that the Phoenix real estate market is in a bubble headed for a crash. And as a matter of fact, everything that I read points to the contrary, saying that the Phoenix market is still incredibly healthy. And so when people say, "Oh, well, yeah, the market's going to crash," well, okay, I would love to see what you're reading and send it my way. But all negative, and there are negative real estate projections out there, and that's where I think, Todd, a lot of our consumers are getting confused because they're mainly reading national news or listening to national news, and the negative real estate projections that I read are talking about other markets out there, not Phoenix. So it's one of the very first things that I try to get across to my buyers and saying, listen, we're not seeing anything that's pointing to any type of crash here in the Phoenix market. It's just not out there.
No, it's not. In fact, locally, just to give anyone who might be analytical like I, an opportunity to get the information for yourself. I mean, go to the University of Arizona, go to the Eller School of Business, go to their Arizona economics page, and you can get the annual forecast, the quarterly forecast for Arizona. You can get them there. That's what I bring to you when I communicate. That's one of the sources. The other is the more conservative, ASU, WP Carey School of Real Estate. They publish their numbers. Of course, Michael Orr is now over there. He is the proprietor of the Cromford Report, so you probably are aware of him. And you have Lawrence Yun. Marge was just telling me Lawrence Yun from NAR, chief economist. He is very bullish on Arizona specifically as it relates to real estate, but across the, basically across the nation, he's watching it because he's the national guy. And then one more person is Ted Jones. He's with Stewart Title. Ted is their economic man. And so if you follow these kinds of things, and not all of them, as you can tell, I look at U of A and then I also look at ASU, and they have different perspectives, both politically as well as, as far as what their results that they purport. But again, just the short of it is, to Michael's point, if you're listening to the news, you're listening to NPR or any of the national syndicated stations, you're getting national news. You're not getting Arizona news, so it's totally different.
Yeah, so set up, I have Google Alerts set up. So, as these stories or these articles or reports, come through, make sure that you have them, send them to your clients that are indicating that they think the market's going to crash, and use the information to post on social media. It's positive here. So how about something positive on social media for a change?
I know. In fact, if you want, Mike, what a great way to get to know you better, you personally and your team, would be if anybody has some of those articles, send them to you, let you kind of take a look at them, or you can send them to me. Either way, I'd be happy to help you understand how it differs with Arizona.
All right. Number 2, inventory is still at an all-time low, Todd. I don't see a scenario where this market can realistically crash when we don't have enough homes. I mean, I think for me, our unemployment rate could skyrocket here in the state of Arizona, and we still don't have enough inventory for the people that could still qualify for a house. And there seems to be no end in sight to our inventory issues. As we always talk about, we really should be, for a balanced market here in Arizona, we should be at 28,000 available homes. We've been consistently under 10,000. And obviously, I'm not being specific here because this changes every single week, from either 8,700 available homes to 8,200. And so this becomes a common sense conversation, is how can, if you just don't have enough homes, how could I mean, that's what I said. And walk me through it. Take me through how this market could be in a bubble, how this, market could crash. Back, in 2000, 2008, we had a lot more inventory. We
Absolutely.
just don't have the inventory right now.
No, you're right, and one of the other things to follow is workforce housing. In other words, where are people having to drive to be able to work in the community in which they work in? And this is what plagued California for so many years was that you'd have to live 2.5 hours away to find affordable housing. Seattle, some of our friends up in Seattle have told us the same thing. Now they got to go north of Mercer Island in order to find property. Hour and a half drive into the city. You look at Phoenix. Where are people? People aren't necessarily driving, to Marana to go to work. Here, there's affordable housing, and then to Matt's point earlier, the thing that the industry uses is a term called affordable housing. What percentage of your income goes to your housing? And in the old days, and I'm talking about like from the 20s up to probably the 70s, early 80s, it was about 40%,
We'll
30,
confirm with Mark in a
38%.
little bit about the 20s.
But right now, I mean, it's as low as 31, 30, 34%. I mean, it's ridiculously low. So keep that in mind when you're looking at it from that perspective.
All right. And then the third thing is we're still experiencing job creation.
Right.
I mean, and this is the conversation that we have with our landlords and our investors. I mean, the rental market is still strong. You're obviously staying away from, people working in the service industry because you don't know about their job security. But we have some very, very strong industries when it comes down to medical, comes down to tech and things like that here. And we're still seeing not only, to your point, people moving from California, but we're still seeing people move here. We're still seeing job creation here. And those are, to me, the key indicators of a healthy market. If it would be an entirely different conversation if we were losing jobs, if we were California and everybody was moving out of Arizona. Well, it's not the case.
That's
So
right.
we're still seeing job creation. And again, it's your responsibility, each week to kind of keep up with what's going on, the job creation and where we're at. Because this is, because this webinar is always hosted on YouTube. I didn't want to get into specifics of where we're at today. But again, as we're still seeing job creation, as we're still seeing people move here, a reminder, we still don't have the inventory
Right.
to meet the demand of these new jobs.
Yeah, one of the things, and you can look at it cyclically, and I won't get too detailed either, but when you start seeing companies like Mark Taylor Properties, all of a sudden start building these monster apartment complexes, that is in direct relation to the expected increase in population based on people migrating to Arizona, the ebb and the flow of what's taking place. The biggest issue that we're facing is just the fact that under $500,000 is where the market's being hit. That's our bread and butter. But at the same token, that's where we also have the greatest efficiency in the product that's available. So to Mike's point, don't, and one last point on job creation in the marketplace, the cities, Peoria is doing a phenomenal job of this. Chandler does a phenomenal job of this. Gilbert is now doing a phenomenal job of it in the last decade, bringing in biotech. These
Yep.
companies, these cities, and to your point, Mike, when you start seeing these cities, don't get upset when they offer them a tax deal. The fact is that, this is just what cities do to bring in those people to keep our taxes low and continue to provide the infrastructure.
All right. All right. Yeah, and so like I said, when I'm having conversations with my clients, I'm supporting each of these points with facts and statistics. So, but these are the philosophical conversations that I'm having with them. And then, I would just also, if I mean, you go over every single Monday, you go over to the stats, we record it and we host it. I mean, throw that out.
Right.
To your clients, let them understand, what the numbers actually look like.